Welcome back, everybody, to the Sexy Business Podcast. We are back once again. Spooky Dangerous here on the left, Lewd Neko over there on the right. Welcome to our office. We have dreary news. This is a news episode instead of a game-focused episode. I don't know how much you love hearing about the horrible state of the world, but sometimes we have to talk about it. And this one, we wanted to talk about the great big Bluesky migration that is happening at the moment because, once again, Twitter has changed something. Twitter has made things worse. And Twitter, for a very long time, has been the only place where NSFW artists were able to get a following and kind of thrive. And now we're kind of having the rug pulled out from under us. So we have a whole list of things that have kind of changed with the platform. But I also do kind of want to talk about why people are moving to Bluesky, why all these different things are happening. And look, my main complaint with Bluesky is that I can't schedule posts in advance just yet without using an external thing. That seems like a simple fix, but until then, everything else seems to be okay. And I have a long list of sins from Twitter to get through, but did you wanna open us up? I don't want this to be a spooky solo episode. Do you want to open us up with how some of your experience on the Twitter has been that might make you want to migrate?
Yeah, so to be fair, I've been a little bit out of the loop when it comes to Twitter/X for a while. I've been busy touching grass, earning a stupid PhD or whatever apparently takes up a lot of your time. So I have had to put like my streaming on kind of the back burner for now, which meant like I came back, I like opened Twitter and I got the little notification about like the blocking changing and was like, oh, that sucks. I'm a sex worker. And as you can imagine, there's probably some very specific people who I don't want to view my account. And there's like a pretty low chance some of these people would ever encounter me, but some of these people do know like my account name and they know the association with me, but for whatever reason, these are like ex-partners and stuff like that, where I'm like, I really don't want you on that part of my social life anymore. So I have them blocked and now they can circumvent that if they want to. Luckily, I'm on pretty good terms with most of these people, and they're consent respectful people. But as you can imagine, for most sex workers, if you've ever had a vengeful ex-partner or friend, a stalker, or even just kind of people who are really fucking annoying in your replies, the guys who type up like an entire essay telling you how big and voluptuous your titties are, and it's like, dude, chill out. The fact that you can't actually tell these people like do not engage with my account anymore, do not look at my stuff is really frustrating. And I know for a lot of people the response would be, well, they could always just make an alt account, they can always just block evade, and that's true. But the fact is, like, the more barriers you put up, the more people you stop, because there's a lot of people who once they get blocked, they're not going to go to the effort of harassing you on an alt account. They're just going to be like, oh, whatever, I'm going to move over to the next ethot or whatever. So that is definitely really concerning. I don't think I'm gonna delete my Twitter yet. I feel like at this point I'm here until the website implodes, if only because it's funny, and also I need to view certain artists that are still on Twitter.
Yeah, we're
But
gonna have the same problem, right?
yeah.
It's you're kind of stuck here. We have a following. We can't just abandon that for something else until it, like, we have 100 followers on Bluesky. I'm not gonna give away on the 50K like right away, until things get a bit better.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in like I think our industry, I know especially for like porn and stuff, like a lot of, especially for like more like OnlyFans models or actual porn stars, a lot of their market and their fan base is like usually older people who don't know what a Bluesky is. So if you just delete your Twitter and move to Bluesky, you lose a lot of money and a lot of visibility like instantly. So that's just like kind of not an option for a lot of creators, or if it is an option that they have to choose, then like they just have to take the L of they might never see certain fans come back again, or they might see certain people stop engaging with their account. It's the same reason, like if you've ever been on Chatterbait, like it looks like a website that has not been updated in like 2 decades, and that's because like a good amount of its user base doesn't want updates. They want everything to stay the same, so that way it's familiar to them and they don't have to learn new things, which makes sense and is actually a kind of interesting business model. But again, it's just like if I decided to delete my account and move to Bluesky, I have around 4,000 followers. And granted, I would guess half of those are probably dead accounts or bots. But even then, if we say that's like probably 2,000 real people, and then I think if I moved to Bluesky, I could maybe get a couple hundred, and then you kind of just have to work from the ground up from there.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're experiencing at the moment. Like posting about it initially, and like you go, okay, I'm moving over to the thing, and then it's like, okay, my reach is already squashed. How many people are really going to see that? And then how many people are going to go, yes, I must move. I must open the Bluesky. I must go and add this person. And so in setting up the account, I've literally had both things open, and while I'm scrolling on Twitter, I see a post. I go, yes, I actually follow this person. I actually like their content. I will go and look them up on Bluesky and put them in. And I know that there is apps for you to like import and like make that process a lot easier. But I'm only following like 200 people or something, so it's like really not like a huge amount, and I feel like I'm missing out if somebody vanishes. But it's like it's manual, it's slow, it takes time. I understand that people are not going to end up migrating, or people are not going to want to get on it, but eventually something is going to happen, and Twitter is going to become unusable. And I don't mean just shit like it is. I mean unusable, and you will vanish. For example, if you were from Brazil, Twitter was banned in the entire country. And it's like, well, okay, I guess if I was an artist and my entire livelihood relied on me using Twitter to contact clients, what now? I'm goodbye, I suppose. My whole livelihood is kind of gone, because for a lot of NSFW and a lot of art in general, Twitter has been the number one space, because things like Tumblr kind of collapsed, where they just kind of eradicated all adult content, and then the website kind of died. I don't know that it does exist now in a capacity, but it just doesn't hit the same. Like, it's no longer part of that same cultural zeitgeist. Like, Vine deleted entirely, and people still talk about Vine, and it had a cultural impact, but you can't use that. You can't go back and cultivate a following or whatever. And it's kind of to start feel like the same thing with these online spaces only exist so far as where the money is coming from. And right now, Discord is actually the only place that I enjoy spending time. Facebook has this thing where every third post is AI generated. I'm seeing a lot of OnlyFans bait, which is horny TikTok content where they've AI generated a new face for the person. But there are some people out there where you can just actually recognize them by their gigantic rack. I'm talking about I Heart Trinity in particular. She has a very particular shape. When you put somebody else's face on her, you're like, that's still this person. I'm sorry. And then the description of the post is like the history of BMW, or like a Wikipedia page copy of the background of Ariana Grande. And when you see 12 of them in a row from different pages and stuff like that, you're like, okay, the internet's dead. There's actually no one left here. And then there's still thousands of comments of people being like, man, what's your number? Oh, I wish to meet you, pretty sexy lady. And I'm like, this is terrible.
I am so glad my parents aren't on Facebook, because I've heard of all of like the insane amounts of misinformation that older adults cannot comprehend. I think like over Thanksgiving, I'm going to see my family. I'm gonna have to sit them down and explain to them like, hey, you can no longer trust everything you see on the internet. You're gonna see some really weird things.
Yeah.
And I need you to like send me posts before you believe them, and I'll verify them for you.
Yeah, well, just trust nothing. Just no news is real ever, actually. Because it's kind of insane how easy it is to fool people, and how I'm actually starting to see a lot of Twitter accounts. There's a Asian girl one where it's all AI generated images, and there's an OnlyFans account for that AI generated person, and the OnlyFans account is doing very well. But even you go on to the pictures, you look at the comment section, there's people on there going like, this is very obviously AI generated. This is not a real person. And it's like, well, how? I've been doing this all wrong. I should have just been robbing people this entire time and just catfishing everyone using an AI generated bot, and then creating an OnlyFans account and then monetizing something somehow. This is kind of insane. And so Twitter is now having huge kind of bot influxes and AI art influxes and stuff like that, which makes it hard to compete. And like, we literally posted an AI art meme on the account. We didn't generate it. We just stole it from somewhere else and we posted it and added a funny caption like, haha, this is a thing. And everyone was like, that's strike one. How dare you post AI content? I thought you were better than this. I'm like, sir, I've just stolen a meme. I have not participated in this in any way. And yet people are still going absolutely buck wild for an AI generated OnlyFans account. So I'm really confused as to exactly what people are wanting here and how we're supposed to compete against these kind of things. But at the start of the episode, I did promise I would go through some of the things that have been happening. I did mention Brazil having Twitter banned. That is on my list. And you did mention the shitter block function. Why? I don't know why you would change that. Isn't the whole point about having safety features is to help keep you private and safe?
Nah, that makes sense.
Right? Why? I genuinely think it's because Elon Musk's account is blocked by so many people because he forced them to follow his account. And so when every single person follows Elon's account, and then he's like, why am I being blocked by so many people? He's like, no, I'm going to change the block function so you'll still see Elon Musk tweets. It's like, what the fuck? That's my read. It's wholly ego, and it makes no sense in any other lens, honestly. And then the next one is all content uploaded is fed into AI databases, and that was the thing that really pushed the latest migration. A lot of artists were just like, well, no, because if AI just reads my style, I cease to be unique, and all the skills that I've cultivated all these years are kind of gone. I'm seeing that with a few artists at the moment. I'll see some AI generated art on my feed, and I go, this is In Case, a comic artist that I really like, because In Case is like a really specific face style, and it's like this can only have been ripped from In Case content, and you're like, well, if an AI can just generate and somebody else can be posting In Case stuff 4 times as fast as he can, the same kind of niche, the same kind of content, gets more followers, right? Because the algorithm cares if you're posting lots. You have more lottery tickets, a chance to take off and become viral. And then you just instantly outcompete someone that fucking invented the thing that you're doing. That's kind of ridiculous. How are you supposed to compete with somebody stealing from you at such an insanely fast rate? And so I can understand people being like, well, if I'm fed into the database, I'm done for. I can't let that happen. For me in particular, THM games, I don't know what upside you'd really get from ripping us off like that. I'm like, you'd have to be literally making lookalike games, I guess, and uploading them. Steam has an AI disclosure thing at the moment, and I don't know how much that's doing to prevent or help things, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think at least with Steam, it seems like they're a little bit stricter on it. Because I think like some games have been reported for not disclosing. And I think at that point, you either have to disclose or your game gets taken down.
Because it depends on what's being used. Originally, they were like, any AI use of anything means you get removed from the store. And there was a guy that was like, I had an AI dialogue generator, and they removed my whole game, even though it was just on the workshop. It wasn't part of the game. It was just a thing that you could download and add. And it's like, okay, seems a bit extreme for something so minor, but also the offended person is the one that explained the scenario, and so you're supposed to be sympathetic to them and not to Steam. But then you see some other stuff that's just like egregious shovelware. That's AI art, AI everything, and you're like, well, this is not a game. This is not made by a person. This is not made with passion. This is not a product. This is a cash grab. Like, this is a thing I've said like a million times before to other people that have asked this question, but it's like, here you are creating a product. Even let's talk about Bishojo Mum for a second, the number one cosplayer OnlyFans model. She's creating a product. She's putting all of this time and money into buying outfits and making props and setting up a scene and finding other people to do scenes with and all this kind of stuff. Dressing up, body paint, right? That's a product. And the content that she's creating has a lot of this time and stuff invested into it. That shows that she's invested, that she believes in it enough to succeed, to spend all this money to make it happen, right? And the same goes for any video game. You spend the time, you work on the art. People see the art, they go, "Wow, that's really high quality and impressive. I'm interested in this game." And part of it is communicating that belief in yourself. Because if someone looks at a game and go, "Oh, the art's shit," they obviously didn't believe in investing in the art to make the game look good. The game can't be that good. And it's kind of the same thing, right? If something is made by AI, you didn't believe in the first step, which was the game could be good. Why do I want to spend money on a thing that you refuse to spend money on? It feels kind of the same.
I feel like as Coomers and Gooners and hentai freaks, we all need to stand together and support well-made stuff. Because if you want those artists to not just disappear and decide to go get boring corporate jobs instead, then you have to support their products and not all of the kind of AI schlop. Because that's like the thing for me is like, I mean, I literally call myself a fictophile. Like I tell people I'm like, I am really sexually into fictional things and characters. And like for the same reason that I wouldn't date a catfisher, or like, you know, any of those sort of like shitty dating bots that happened, you know, a decade ago, then I'm not gonna go for all of the sort of like cheap AI shit, whether it's games or like the weird OnlyFans AI findom stuff. Seriously, y'all, don't be findomming for AI or fin subbing, I should say. I've been seeing that. And I'm like, come on now, at least give your money to a real woman.
Yeah, for real. Can you imagine how pathetic that is? Because the whole point of the fin sub thing is the satisfaction of knowing that you're relieving a financial burden from her, or you're making her life better, or whatever. But also being humiliated and all that kind of stuff. But none of that exists with the AI bot. You're just like feeding it so that it can continue. Just imagine it's the hungry caterpillar, and that's the thing that you're giving money to, and all it does is eat money and take
You want to
people's
hear the
jobs.
worst part? Is
Aw.
I've seen like people who have a fetish, like specifically they get humiliated by the fact that they're getting off to AI content. Like, oh, you don't
Aw.
even deserve a real woman or real art, so you have to get off to the shitty AI. And you know what? This is the one time I'm gonna kink shame. This is your kink. Get a better one.
Yeah, that's somehow worse than like beta censored porn humiliation content. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna feel ashamed about that existing in the world later. But there was two more things on my little list here. One of them being that basically any time that you're trying to monetize an audience by posting a Steam link, posting a Patreon link, posting an OnlyFans link, that the reach of that post gets squashed, and it's basically non-existent. So it makes it really hard to um, promote anything, monetize your following, and it means that having 100 million followers kind of means nothing. And we saw this big change where people rely on the link in bio, and so the thousands of bots popped up with the pussy in bio kind of shit, and where they're just trying to understand why people are doing this kind of action and try and capitalize on scamming people by forcing them to go through kind of those same kind of motions, right? You'll see a lot of accounts will go and follow really old posts and hit that like, maybe commented it or whatever. And then when you have a look at them, they've got a couple of people following them. They're following a couple of people, but it's like hot girl picture and then a very obvious scam link, which is like, come and have a look at my pussy here. And it's really interesting because we're getting to a point where people don't have the kind of internet literacy to understand that a person who's put no effort into marketing themselves, like they've got no posts, right? No posts, no pictures posted, nothing. How are they going to have a successful OnlyFans just by having a link in a bio and not interacting with anything in a positive way on the site? When
Yeah.
we have big OnlyFans creators, top 1% type shit, they're like, I'm posting 3 times a day. You're seeing my pictures and shit constantly. I'm replying to viral tweets with pictures of myself. You're seeing me on TikTok. You're seeing me on Facebook where people are stealing my reels. You're seeing me on Instagram. And it's like, you have to have a social presence to make this thing work and make money. To create a bot that does none of those things and just goes, here's the link, please give me the money, obviously shouldn't work.
We're gonna have to start like giving like the talk where like you start with like condoms and the safety of that, and then you're like, okay, let's talk about AI and porn bots.
Yeah,
Son,
let's
here's
talk
how you
about,
identify a porn bot on Twitter.
yeah, like, okay, son, most of the porn on the internet is free, and there's lots of rip sites on how to find the free porn. But also, you have to be wary of pretty much every single hyperlink that you click on. And here is a list of trusted sites. And look, if you really want to jerk it, just let me open the browser for you and type in some things first, and then have at it, kiddo. But like, it's getting like that. Like, imagine Boomer Grandpa trying to fucking navigate this, and he gets a DM on Twitter that says, "What are you up to this weekend? I really like camping." This is not exaggerating, a thing that happened to me, and it's a bot, and the goal is just to get you talking to it, and then it will like ask for your number or something like that, and then it will sell that to a like a telemarketer listing. This is a thing that happens a lot on dating apps. You'll see the dating app, they've stolen a whole bunch of the photos. They talk to you for about 5 minutes, and then they ask you for your WhatsApp or whatever. And it's like, no human woman is that interested in me. They're just not. I'm a fucking 15 out of 10. I'm 6'5". I don't really need to say anything if people want to fuck me. No one wants my number that fast. And knowing that that's what's going to happen and they're going to sell it, and I'm going to get 100 calls from China or India or wherever the telemarketer center is set up, then why? Why should I be doing these things? And there's so many ridiculous scams and stuff like that that exist, and it's becoming so much harder to just exist as an online person and work in an online space when so many safety features that should exist don't exist. On Twitter, I assume that none of the bots are being squashed because more engagement better or some shit. But like, if your website is hostile and there's so many scams and it's so hard to just have a social experience, the users aren't going to stay there. Like, here's the thing that keeps bothering me is that the reason why people continue to use something over time is because the experience is good. And when something declines so much, like Twitter is, as soon as something else promises to be good and holds that promise, people will go there. And that's the reason why Discord is so successful, and there's so many things on Discord. Discord is so successful that they posted a 30-second trailer in the client and accidentally made it autoplay for every single user that opened the app. And it was the highest viewed YouTube video in the history of YouTube in the first 30 seconds or whatever it was that it was live. And it's like, Discord's doing good. Discord is not doing anything insane, right? And then how can places like Twitter be looking at the competition or looking at the other third spaces that exist and being like, fuck it, we'll just make a cesspool.
What's crazy is at this point, even like I feel like Tumblr is better than Twitter. We've come full circle. We're like, because like I'm still on Tumblr because I've had my account for like over a decade. I can't leave it, and I have like IRL friends who I follow on there, and like the search function is great. The tagging is great. There's actually not too many like porn bots anymore, at least compared to like in the heyday when there was a lot of porn bots on Tumblr. Mostly because like they can get banned pretty easily and flagged because of like their nudity rules and stuff like that. But overall, it's like it's a great place if you're looking for fan art, especially because one of the most annoying things is like with like all the spam tagging is like if you are involved in like a like popular fandom, like anything that's like big and easy to tag, like Pokemon or something, and you try to look up hashtag Pokemon, you're gonna get like half Pokemon art, and then you're gonna get half like random porn bot that use the word Pokemon so that way you could get more clicks, and it is so annoying.
Yeah, I don't know that Twitter has the same kind of problem. I feel like all of the tags on Twitter are meaningless. and don't actually connect you with any kind of an audience.
I know, and it just gets worse. Like,
Yeah.
The whatever functionality it used to have, because I mean, I at least used to be able to find porn I wanted, like specific fetishes and stuff, because I would know the really like specific fetish tags. But like all the BDSM turns have just been like, completely flooded by bots. It doesn't matter what your
Yeah.
kink is. They have invaded, and it is impossible to find anything. And then again, even with like the AI art, now if you look up hentai, if you look up animated, if you look up SFM, if you look up any of the sort of like typical porn hentai terms, it has just been flooded by like AI art.
Yeah. Yep. And that very sad note and depressing episode must eventually come to a close. Surely, it does feel kind of important for us to be talking about these kinds of things because our industry is so volatile. Currently, most of it exists on Twitter because that is one of the few places that doesn't outright have porn banned and does have a large user base. Bluesky has so far been pretty accommodating in allowing NSFW content. It has a pretty good videos uploading and stuff like that. So it's all kind of happening, and you're able to create these groups where you can just kind of scroll through one type of content. And so far, it's promising to be good. How long or how well that's going to do, or how many people are going to come on board and make that possible, we don't know. What we do know is that right now, Twitter is incredibly hostile to the average user, and it's getting harder and harder to have any kind of success on there. Even for the really big creators, it feels harder and harder, and you have to grind harder and harder just to get seen, because so much of your reach gets squashed. Even if you have 1 billion followers and you're posting something and only like 100 people are seeing it, it feels so difficult to have any kind of value out of the platform. I mean, a lot of us are relying on it to help us sell a product or, get an OnlyFans page popping. It can be really stressful. And so this is the kind of thing that we kind of talk about on the Sexy Business podcast to help you as a fan connect to the people that you care about. Because if the number one creator, your favorite OnlyFans girl, suddenly vanished and left and was on Bluesky and you didn't know about it, you might never have an opportunity to reconnect, or you might never have an opportunity to find some of the new and cool artists that are on there now. And this is like not a paid shill or anything. This is just us talking about the big migration of people moving from Twitter to Bluesky specifically, because we've had a lot of other competitors come and go, like Mastodon's kind of come and gone. A lot of people kind of are moving to Discord and stuff like that, but it doesn't have like a feeds function as much. You're kind of just posting it into the different channels and hoping for the best. And for some people, this works really well, but it is a bit different trying to cultivate an audience for a particular person in a Discord server, as you need to get everyone into that Discord server. And having a lot of Discord servers on your account is a nightmare. I just have everything grouped and muted and hidden away, and I don't want to know about it unless if I'm looking for it. So I kind of understand. But these kind of challenges and stuff like that are the kind of things that we want to talk about on the Sexy Business podcast. You can understand what creators are going through. If you're looking at being a creator, you can understand some of the challenges you're going to have to overcome. And then hopefully we can, give some advice or explain kind of how we're dealing with it or what's going on to help you overcome some of those challenges and be successful creators in this space. Because that's kind of the whole idea. We want to help people in the NSFW space not feel like shit all the time and actually maybe experience some success and not have to stress about all the crazy horrible things that are happening all of the time, like we have had in some of our previous news episodes talking about political landscapes or stuff like that. So a lot of it is very scary. We are doing our best to help and talk about it and help prepare you for what the NSFW industry is like here on the Sexy Business podcast. And look, that's why you should click the subscribe button. That's why you should click the like button, because it helps us out. We are just as much a slave to the algorithm as everyone else. We need to see the big view number, the big like numbers for us to feel like what we're doing is worth the time, right? We're taking times out of our busy days of yanking it so that we can come here and talk to you and help shed some light on what's going on. So please click the buttons so you can make us have a happy Neko. As always, we want to have the happy Neko instead of the sad Neko for all the people that just watch the first 5 minutes and leave. I know you would miss this speech, but still it is important to us for you to click all the buttons. And then after you've clicked all the buttons, I promise next week you'll see an episode from us. And it will be magical. And then next time, we'll be seeing on you at the Sexy Business Podcast.
Bye-bye.